Namo Buddhaya and welcome to the Buddha Dharma TV's Sunday program. I am Lisa Chu. Today we will start with a Dharma talk followed by a song and our weekly Dhammapada session. The Dharma talk is by Sayale Susila, the founder and current abbess of Appamada Vihari Meditation Center in Penang, Malaysia. Sayale Susila was ordained as a Theravada Buddhist nun in the Burmese tradition at the age of 28 at the Malaysian Meditation Center in Penang, Malaysia, and to date has traveled worldwide in order to give formal lectures on Abhidharma and to teach at meditation retreats. We respectfully welcome Sayale Susila, who will be presenting part 2 of the Dharma talk titled The Power of the Mind.
Compassion energy come to you, you yourself have to radiate that type of energy first. If you radiate the anger one, then you attract the anger energy to come near to you. This is my practical experience. Right? At that time, I don't understand the power of the mind, the power of wholesome mind and the power of unwholesome mind. Through my many experience, practical self-experience, personal experience, I start to see clearly how the mind works and how the mind affects our whole beings, as well as how the mind affects other people, even animate things, even animals, animate things, even the whole world, the whole planet. I will tell you later. Okay? And another example is in Burma. In Burma, there was a very famous monk stay in the forest. And as you know, those who stay in the forest have to practice loving kindness meditation. Otherwise, you will be harmed by wild animals. And so this monk stayed in the forest with a kapya in another kuti. So there are 2 kuti. And very often, a tiger come and sleep under the monks, below the monk's kuti, because it's Gao Jiao Wu, high building. Below there's a space. So a tiger always came and sleep under the kuti. So one day, during winter, and the kapya was burning some firewood to keep himself warm. And at that time, the tiger also slept under the monk's kuti, below the monk's kuti. And suddenly, the tiger yawning. So when tiger was yawning, he opened his mouth. And this kapya, unable, don't know why, suddenly an evil thought arises in his mind. He said, how if I throw a firewood into his mouth? Don't laugh at him. Sometimes all evil thought will suddenly pop up into our mind without we have the intention. Just an elusive thought. So the thought arises in his mind. He said, how if I throw a firewood into his mouth? And this is called evil thought, right? Harmful thought. As I told you before, animals are very sensitive to sense the thought energy, the thought vibration. So the tiger seems understand this violent energy. So he roar very terribly. The tiger roar. And the monk in the kuti heard the tiger roaring. Then he told the kapya, "Hi, kapya, do you have bad thought to the tiger?" And the kapya was so shocked, because the monk knows the working of the mind so well. And the kapya was very shocked. Immediately he realized his evil thought. So, and he also get very frightened. If the tiger attack him, he will die, certainly die. So he quickly changed his mental state. Maybe in his mind, the story didn't say very clearly, but I assume he asked forgiveness from the tiger. He says, sorry, tiger, just now I had bad thought for you. Please forgive me. Then once he changed his mind, and the tiger go to sleep again. So this is called how the energy that emit from our unwholesome thought can affect other people. Okay, another incident. The unwholesome state of mind not only can provoke bad energy to come near to us, but also the unwholesome mind also can hasten or speed up the ripening of bad karma. If we always entertain the unwholesome thought of the mind, then this unwholesome thought of mind speed up, hastened the ripening of our bad karma. So one of the nuns related to me. She said that one day she has some argument with her teacher, and I think she cherished some misunderstanding towards her teacher, and she get very, very angry with her teacher, and she left the monastery immediately. Left with anger. And after 2 or 3 days, still very angry, then she came back. Before came back to the monastery, she stayed in one devotee's house. At that time, she went up because it's old house, old traditional house. They must climb the stairs in order to enter into the toilet. So she climbed up to the stairs and finished the business. Then when she walked down, suddenly she fell down, and the edge of the stairs hit her spine, and she was injured. Then after some time, she started to understand. This is not careless action. This is the ripening of bad karma. Ripening of bad karma. Then only after some time, she started to understand why that bad karma ripened to her. Because she entertained anger for a few days. Her mind is in the unwholesome state for a few days, and this attracts all the unwholesome energy or unwholesome bad karma to ripen faster. Therefore, we as a human being, we have done a lot of wholesome karma. We also have done a lot of unwholesome karma. Each of us want to avoid the ripening of unwholesome karma, right? So one way to block the ripening or to delay or block the ripening of unwholesome karma is always keep your mind wholesome. Always keep the wholesome thought in your mind. Then the wholesome thought will attract the same force, same pleasant mind to you, same pleasant environment, same pleasant or pleasant, wholesome resultant to you. So these are a few story or few story or few examples, a real story. They happen in order to tell you, to reveal to you how the wholesome mind affect our well-beings and how the unwholesome mind harm us, provoke the violence of others, and finally we ourselves are affected. So the mind, the evil mind, unwholesome mind not only affect oneself and others, but also the unwholesome mind affect the planet, the world. Because Buddha say in the Anguttara Nikaya, number 4, Buddha say, at such time, as kings are corrupted in mind, are not righteous, The ministers, the priests, householder, and villagers are also corrupted. This being so, the moon, stars, sun go wrong in their courses. So when the king, the head of the country, the king and the priest and the minister, householder, all are corrupted. And the moon, the star, and the sun also will go wrong in their courses. Sun and moon are to you maybe inanimate things, right? No life to you, to us. It appears sun, moon, star have no life. And yet, they are affected by humans' corruption. This is what Buddha said. Huh? And Buddha further said that days and nights, months and fortnight seasons, and years are out of order. When beings are corrupted in mind, day and nights, month and years also out of order. And the wind blows wrongly. The time to blow the wind, no wind. Not the time to blow the wind blows. So the wind blows wrongly. And out of season, the wind blows wrongly out of season, then the sky doesn't rain sufficiently and seasonally. If the sky, especially for the farmer, certain time they need the rain, but the rain doesn't fall. So there's no harvest at all. When there's no harvest, then we have no food to eat, right? So the sky doesn't rain sufficiently and seasonally, and crops ripen in the wrong season. Men live on such crops are short life, weak and sickly. So nowadays we have a lot of sickness, right? It's also because the human minds become more and more corrupted. Therefore, they affect the harvest, affect the crops, affect the sun, the moon, the rain, the wind. So what we eat are not nutritious things anymore. Therefore, our body become weak, sick. This is what Buddha said in Anguttara Nikaya number 4. So from all this saying and story, we come to understand the power of the mind cannot be underestimated. As a human being, we want to live happily. We want to live with ease. So what should we do? Take care of our mind. Not only for ourselves, also for our family, our friends, our country, our neighbor, our country, even for the whole world. However, we are human beings. And Buddha said in Dhammapada, the mind inclined to evil. The mind not naturally inclined to wholesome, but the mind inclines to evil. So when the evil mind arises in our mind, we know the effect already. The evil mind arises in our mind, it will attract the same force. The same evil mind will come to you that cause you harm and danger. Therefore, we have to prevent the evil mind from arising. But if it really arises in the mind, what should we do? What should we do? So in Majjhima Nikaya, number 20, Vitaka Santana Sutta, Buddha mentioned, Buddha gives 5 ways to overcome distracting thoughts or unwholesome thoughts. First, Buddha said, if there's any unwholesome thoughts that arise in the mind, you should use their opposite state of good mind to overcome it. Let's say, when the anger, unwholesome state of the mind arise in the mind, then what is the opposite wholesome state of mind to conquer, to overcome this anger? Yes? Metta, everybody know. Huh? Metta, loving kindness, everybody know. But have you ever tried when you get angry, you still can radiate metta? Not easy unless you put into practice for a period of time. Otherwise, it won't come automatically, right? You practice a period of time already and it becomes part of your habit, then you can use the metta to subdue your anger when it arises in you. Otherwise, you say, wait, when I get angry, I radiate metta. Never work, I tell you. There's a story, one Australian monk, I think most of you have heard this story before, because I've told it many times. He was practicing loving kindness meditation. So when we practice loving kindness meditation, first we radiate loving kindness to oneself, ourselves. Then second, we radiate loving kindness to our respectable teacher, same sex and still alive. So when successful, we radiate to the third type of person, we call neutral person. And when successful, then we change to the fourth type of person, enemy, our enemy. So when this Australian monk, he was successful in radiate loving kindness to himself, second to the respectable teacher, third to the neutral person. But when come to the fourth person, enemy, there was a great challenge for him. But he tried very hard. So one day, he came to his teacher and told his teacher that, he said that when I try to radiate loving kindness to my enemy, may my enemy be free from all danger, be well and happy. And he said that, I am so afraid he really become well and happy. So from here, you know, even he has practiced metta for so many days and successful in a few person already, but come to the person he doesn't like is a great challenge. Therefore, loving kindness cannot work all the time. So you have to change another method. So Buddha says, if you use the opposite method, that loving kindness cannot subdue your anger, then use the second method, second option. What is the second option? Buddha says, you should reflect the danger of the anger. The danger of anger, just now, I already give you many examples. The danger of anger provoke the violence of others, and that violent energy will come upon you and you will be harmed first. I already give example of how I am attacked by the dog, right? So you should reflect the danger of the anger. If you want to save yourself from all dangers, you have to give up that anger. Otherwise, the anger keep on emitting violent energy that attract many danger to come upon you. So you should reflect the danger of anger. But sometimes when the mind gets so angry, the mind cannot think skillfully. The mind cannot think wisely. Also cannot reflect the anger, the danger of anger. Then what should you do? Buddha said, there's third option. Don't pay attention to that anger state of mind. For example, when you get very angry, don't entertain that anger thought. And shift your attention, transform your mind. Shift your attention from that anger thought to other things. If you like to hear music, turn on the music. So can avert your attention to other things. Or take a book and read. Or call your friend and talk. You should Buddha say, change your attention. Don't focus your attention on that anger, but think something else. Divert your attention. Just like when, for example, you have eyes. You can see many people in front of you. And so happen, the first one is your enemy. So how can you prevent yourself not to see your enemy? Close your eyes, right? Close your eyes, that's all. Or you see other direction. But sometimes when you see your enemy, you already know when you see your enemy, that will provoke your anger, but you want to see more. You want to see more and make yourself more angry again. Therefore, mind is very difficult to tame. Mind won't listen to you. Mind only listen to you when you tame it for a long time. Otherwise, no, it won't listen to you. You already know when you see, you get more angry, and yet you want to see more. Okay, so by avert our attention to other things, then we can free ourselves from that torturing thought or that harmful thought. Still, Buddha say, the third option also cannot work. I still want to see him. So what to do? The fourth option. And Buddha say you should investigate the cause of your disturbing thought. What is the root cause that makes you so angry? So you keep on investigating the root cause one after another, and as you keep on investigating the root cause, even though you cannot solve the cause, you also have already avert your attention to that angry thought. So keep on investigating until one day, or until to the end of your investigation, you may or may not find out the cause, but you already avert your attention from that disturbing thought. But if you can find out the root cause, then you solve the root cause. When you solve the root cause, then your anger, agitation will resolve, will disappear, will go away from in your mind. This is called cause and effect. So you know your anger is an effect of a certain cause, and keep on working on that cause. The Buddha's teaching is killing the cause, not killing the effect. For example, there's a dog and there's a lion, and you stand there, you take one stick and throw to the dog. What will the dog behave? Bark, or by the wood, by the stick, right? Okay, then you throw another stick and throw to the lion. What will lion behave? Yeah, attack you. So in the teaching of the Buddha, we must behave like the lion. We must, we should not behave like the dog, but we must behave like the lion. The dog, when a person tries to hurt or beat the dog does not know how to attack the root cause of his pain, right? But he go and bite the stick, the wood. If the dog keeps on biting the wood, but I'm here, I can still throw again the wood or the stick, and the dog will be harmed again and again. There's no end to it. But the lion behaves differently. Lion is smart. He know he was hurt, he was bitten, he was harmed, not because of that stick. Because of what? Because of the person who threw the stick. He is the one. So I directly attack him, then I will be free from all dangers and harm. So as a practitioner of Buddha's teaching, we must behave like the lion, not the dog. So this is the fourth way. Keep on investigating the root cause of your disturbing thoughts until you find out the root cause and tackle the root cause. And all the disturbing thoughts will suddenly dissolve. Okay? So this is the fourth way. However, Buddha said, sometimes it fails again. Fail, not successful. Mind cannot work, cannot function. When mind gets very angry, cannot function. No yoniso manasikara, cannot think wisely anymore. So Buddha said, last option. Last option is, Buddha said, clench your teeth and place your tongue above your roof of teeth, above the roof of your upper lip, upper mouth inside, and use energy, effort, and using good state of mind to beat down the unwholesome state of the mind. Harrowing effort, strong effort to take the wholesome state of the mind and beat down the unwholesome state of the mind. So lastly, Buddha emphasized we cannot tolerate with any evil thoughts. Finally, use first, second, third, fourth. The last one, use energy or hold your, and bite your teeth. And use the wholesome state of the mind to beat down the unwholesome state of the mind. These are the 5 ways to overcome disturbing thought. And if these 5 ways also fail, then we have to take care of ourselves already. Take care of ourselves to start to create, to perform unwholesome karma. Once you cannot control in the mind, the action comes. When you perform the action, then bad karma is performed. Any bad karma, good karma or bad karma, once performed, leave behind bad effect, or we call vipaka, in the stream of our mind and body. When time ripens, unwholesome or painful result will take place. Therefore, I say the last one, if we fail in all these 5 ways, we are ready to make unwholesome karma and wait for the result to ripen and suffer accordingly. Okay, so therefore, Buddha said in the Anguttara Nikaya, Bhikkhus, I do not see even one other things that, when developed and cultivated, leads to such great happiness as the mind. The mind, when developed and cultivated, leads to great happiness. So, by attending today's talk, I hope this talk can awaken you the power of the wholesome mind that can protect you, that can protect the whole world, and the power of unwholesome mind that can harm you and that can harm the whole world. So I wish you to cultivate and develop your mind for your own benefits as well as for the benefits of the whole world. Thank you. So we have some question-answer session.
So questions? the mind is always so noisy inside.
Noisy.
Very noisy inside because of psychosis. How to keep the mind still?
Go for meditation retreat.
We would like to present a Buddhist song titled Guardian of the Sasana by Wayfarers.
At the age of the forest, where the spring water flows, in search of nirvana, that is where I would go, watching life's little dramas with a calm repose. At the age of the forest, that is where I would go. Let us practice the Dharma in a silent heart, worry not of the future, gently let go the past. Sit in deep contemplation in one-pointedness, and in that soft moment there is just timelessness.
Now, it is time for the weekly Dhammapada sermon, a collection of sayings of the Buddha, which is one of the best-known Buddhist scriptures and most widely read. The weekly Dhammapada verse 92 will be presented by Venerable Professor Bhante Sivali. Let us welcome Bhante Sivali to present a brief sermon of the Dhammapada verse 92.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Welcome to the Buddha Dharma TV Dhammapada program. Thank you very much for coming. And today we discuss the verse number 92 of the chapter 7 on the saints. We discussed, of course, not in full details, but to some extent we explained the 4 stages of the Arahanthood. The first stage, second stage, third stage, and the fourth stage, where one will end up as the Arahat. Sotapatta or Sotapanna is the first stage. And the second stage, once returner. Third stage, non-returner. Fourth stage, Arahant, the enlightened one. And we discussed that, explained well, the first stage, Sotapanna, second stage, Sakurdagami, or once returner, Anagami, non-returner, third stage, and the fourth stage, Arahant, enlightened one. And when one reached that level, the mindful ones make the effort to keep their attentiveness always in trim. They are not at all attached to abodes or settlements, giving up all places or settle of living. They live like the swans who fly away free in mind. So that is the nature of the Arahants. So that's why we had to discuss the 4 stages, who the Arahant is, and that is what we got the brief explanation about the Arahant, that it says that mindful ones, they are completely free from all lust now, and they are mindful ones make the effort to keep their attentiveness always in trim. They are not at all attached to anything, giving up all places of settled living. They live like the swans who fly away free in mind. So we now know who the Arahants, the 4 stages of Arahants, and also their nature, who the Arahants are. So that was what we discussed in the 91, verse number 91. So the 92 also continue, and 93 also continue of the same explanation. Yesam sannichayo natti ye parin natha bhojana sunyato animitto cha imokko yassa gocharo gatite sam durannaya gatite sam durannaya. This is the verse number 92, and that means with full understanding that nature is empty and objectless, the mind is free of craving and leaves no trace of its whereabouts, like the paths of birds in flight. So no trace of its whereabouts, like the paths of birds in flight. The birds, they fly from this tree to the other trees, but from this side of the river to the other side, far they travel, but nobody can find where the road, the path they took, because they leave no trace. We will never be able to find where the birds flew from here to there, how they flew, because they leave no traces. That's all, just like a bird. So those who are free from cravings, the mind is free from craving and leaves no trace of its whereabouts of. Just like birds who fly from this side to the other side, far, but leaving with no whatsoever trace of their root. So this is what is little bit more about Arhat. Buddha, however, also made clear to his disciples the difference between himself and the Arhats who were his disciples, because the Arhat also enlightened one. But the supreme enlightened one was the Buddha. So Buddha wanted to clear to his disciple the difference between himself and the Arhats who were his disciples. I hope you like to know the difference, but it's better to see, to attain that level, and then you will see who Arhats. Then we can see. Huh? Yes, you can see. Only when you attain to that level, you know who the Arhats. That's what Buddha says. You dhammam pasati somam pasati. One who attains to a certain level, then you know, oh, Buddha has attained to this level. Yes, go on further. So you know which level you are in. So you know, oh, Buddha. So dhammam pasati. You dhammam pasomam pasati. When you reach to that level, you know Buddha has attained that level. So you understand. Then dhamma there. Then you also say, you see, Buddha has attained that level. So I am here now. I want to go to that level. This is what the meaning of it. Yo dhammam pasati somam pasati. So, Buddha, however, also made it very clear to his disciples the difference between himself and the Arhats who were his disciples. They were declared by the Buddha to be his equals as far as the emancipation from defilements and ultimate deliverance are concerned. As far as emancipation of defilements. The Buddha said, O disciples, is an Arhat fully enlightened one? It is he who proclaims the path, not proclaimed before. He is the knower of the path. He is the one who knows the path, who understands a path, who is skilled in the path. And now his disciples are wayfarers who follow in his footsteps. Who is an Arhat, a fully enlightened one, from the disciple who is freed by insight. Sanskrit Arhat, consummate one, that's the meaning. The worthy one are titles applied exclusive to the Buddha and the perfected disciples. As the commentaries reveal, the first application of the term to Buddha was by himself. That was when a Buddha was journeying from the place of Gaya to Varanasi. Gaya, where Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. And then he was journeying from Gaya, which has become Gaya, became the Bodh Gaya, Bodh Gaya, where Buddha attained the enlightenment, full enlightenment. Then he was walking to Benares, Varanasi, to deliver his first sermon to his 5 ascetics. On the way, not far from Gaya, the Buddha was met by Upaka. Upaka is a name, an ascetic, who is struck by the serene appearance of the master. First sight, he was excited by the peaceful, serene appearance of the Buddha. The first time he sees a person, individual, like this quality, nature, appearance. So immediately he inquired to Buddha, who is the teacher? Who are you, the Venerable Master? Who are you? Whose teaching do you profess? So, replying in verse, the Buddha said, Aham sattva anuttaro. He used the word for the second time when addressing the 5 ascetics. Thus, I am an Arhat, Tathagata, Aham Tathagata, fully enlightened one. The word is applied only to those who have fully destroyed the taints, defilements. Not to us. We cannot be far away. Once we reach that level, beyond the imagination, we cannot even think of reaching that level. But to be a Arhat, yes. But to be a Supreme Buddha, forget about it. Anyway, in this sense, the Buddha was the first Arhat in the world, as he himself revealed to Upaka, the one who came, who met, who was impressed and charmed by the Buddha's serene appearance. That was Buddha's answer. Why? Because he said, Yassasva parikkina, aharecha anisitu. Yassasva parikkina, aharecha anisito, sunyato animitto cha, vimokko yassa gocharo. Akaseva tapuntanang padantassa durannayam. Parantassa durannayam. You see how nice it is? How nice it is. What he says. How? He says. It is the beautiful meaning, another beautiful meaning. So nicely Buddha explained who he is. So, padam tassa duranya. It's akasaya sattana. Because he said, the Arhants are also leave no trace when they leave. Just like a bird, akasya, who flies in the sky without leaving any trace to follow him. which path they took, we will never be able to follow. No trace left. So the Venerable, whose robes were worn out, was seeking material on refuse heaps and in other similar places. One day the Venerable was using, Venerable Anuruddha in fact. Now in the Venerable's third previous existence, he had a wife who had been reborn in the world of the 33 as the goddess Jalini. Jalini. You see, Buddha not only spoke about the divine abodes and different divine abodes and those who were living there, and also by name. You can tell the name, how they were born. This is the power of the supremely enlightened Buddhas. A power, immense power, a spiritual power. Not given by anybody, by earned, by severe meditation, committed millions of years in the past, little by little, achieved this power and developed. When he came to this time for final existence, he attained the supreme bliss of Buddhahood, and then he physically left this world. But he is no more, no trace to follow him. So likewise, Venerable Anuruddha, now in the Venerable's third previous existence, he had a wife who had been reborn in this world of the 33 as the goddess Jalini. When the goddess saw the Venerable seeking clothes for robes, she resolved to aid him. She resolved to aid him. A previous life, Venerable Anuruddha's wife, now she is as a goddess in a different world, in divine world. Now you see. Now she sees these things and she wants to help Venerable Anuruddha, who is seeking clothes for robes. She resolved to aid him. So taking 3 celestial clothes, 13 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. So it's not for one person. There's an immense heap of clothes. So taking 3 celestial clothes, 13 cubits long and 4 cubits wide, and thinking to herself, if I display these clothes in this manner, the Venerable will not take them. You see, she still can see the mind, his mental state. So she knows that he will not accept it, he might refuse. She feels that. She went to certain refuse heap. In front of the heap where the Venerable was seeking clothes, and laid them down in such a way that only the hems were visible. You see, using a trick. Taking the clothes with him, he went his way. On the way, another day, he was to make his robes. The Buddha, accompanied by his large retinue of many monks, went to the monastery and sat down. Likewise, the 80 chief venerables sat down there. Also, for the purpose of sewing the robes, the Venerable Kassapa, the great sat at the foot. Venerable Sariputta in the midst, and the Sariputta was in the middle, spun out the thread. The Buddha threaded the needles. You see how humble with the company monks, Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Ananda at the head. The company of monks spun out the thread. The Buddha threaded the needle. Can you imagine? And Venerable Moggallana went hither and thither, supplying wherever else might be needed. The goddess entered the village and incited the inhabitants to give alms, saying they are making robes for my noble Venerable Anuruddha. You see, 5 lives before she was a girlfriend. Now she is a goddess in a heavenly abode. And Venerable Anuruddha now is a monk. And he is not the ordinary monk. And he is there now. And the earth suckered the hell, the chief of the gods, to a circle about the place where they were making the robes. The earth was as if it died with lack. There was a great heap of food, both soft and hard, remaining over and about the monks who had eaten. Can you imagine? These things are beyond the imagination, but these are the things that those heavenly beings who live in heavenly abodes can do certain things which is beyond our grasp. Why? Because we have not reached that level. Therefore, it is common for the ordinary people to say, it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. We have to excuse those foolish ones. They only accept what is seen. That's okay, not bad, but you have no right to refuse that what you have not seen, what you cannot understand. It is unfortunate to see those people come out with different opinions and say that, oh, I'm a scholar, I want to say that these things, these people, these divine beings do not exist, and etc. It's really sad. We have to excuse those. It is a pity. We have to excuse them. But what is important is to understand is, usually translated as asava, tainted as corruptions, intoxicant, vices, cankers, fluxes, taints, etc. We translate this word asava or flowing in as influence that motivates behavior. 4 influences are listed in the discourses of Buddha: tendency towards a sensual desire, kamasava. That is our tendency towards the sensual desire. So tendency towards existence, that means bhavasava. We like to live, we like to exist. Tendency towards belief, ditthasava. We like to cling to certain belief. Even if they are not true, but still we like to cling onto the beliefs because we feel that they are right, to my knowledge, but not in reality. Reality is completely different, but I stick to this belief. That is called ditthasava. And tendency towards unawareness, avijjasava, ignorance. A list of 3. Omitting the tendency towards views is also found in the suttas. The fourfold division also occurs under the name of frauds and yokes. Though the path of extreme entry, the influence of views is destroyed through the path of non-returning, the influence of sense desire through the path of arhatship, the influence of existence and the ignorance. Buddha shows how to overcome the influences, namely through insight, sense control, avoidance, wise use of the necessities of life. Khinasava is in the one whose influences are destroyed. Khina means void. Asava means influences. So Khinasava means one whose influences are destroyed, or one who is influence free, is a name for the Arhat, or Holy One. The state of arhatship is frequently called asavakkaya, the destruction of the influences. Suttas concluding with the attainment of arhatship by the listeners often end with the words during this utterance. The hearts of the monks were freed from influences through clinging no more. Through clinging, no more clinging. The term asava would mean impulses, urge, compulsions, motive or influence. It is similar to the term tanha, commonly translated as craving. Tanha, I hope you all have it. So tanha is also of three kinds. Thirst for sensual pleasures. Sensual pleasures. You all have that. Kama tanha. Thirst for existence. Bhava tanha. That is thirst for existence, and vibhava tanha, thirst for non-existence. So three types: thirst for sensual pleasure, thirst for existence, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha, thirst for non-existence. So we have explained 4 stages of arhatship in verse number 90, and in 91 we also explained the position of arhants in Latin 1, and also we have explained 92 and 93 difference of arhant, enlightened one, and Buddha, and the similarities of Buddha and difference of Buddha, why Buddha is supreme, unique, we have discussed. So these are all in, not in detail, but in nutshell. It is up to you to first you continue to read more and more, understand, and more than that, please try to practice little bit of Dhamma so that you can feel slowly, gradually, little by little you will be able to get rid of these asavas, desires. That is the path towards the final liberation. I hope you like to be freed from all these defilements and asavas. For that, may you all have wisdom and courage. May you all be blessed.
the age of the forest, where the spring water flows, in search of nirvana, that is where I would go, watching life's little dramas with a calm repose.
That concludes today's program. If you have any questions about the contents of our broadcast, please feel free to reach out to us at info@buddhadharmatv.com. Our dedicated team remains committed to sharing the profound teachings of the Buddha, helping you walk the path of wisdom and enlightenment. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again next week at the same time. Namo Buddhaya.